we are going to go into our game. So we've got blah, blah.
Top left, we got snow.
Sorry, Artosis.
Bottom right, we got sharp. Light. Yep. Okay, Tasteless, you can talk again. I know it's important.
Like, I too wanted to say that snow was in the top left and that light was in the bottom right.
Yeah, so Revolver.
Yeah.
I think I saw like one game on this map, maybe. So yeah, I'm not really sure about it. It just looks pretty normal.
Oops.
I see a couple of funny looking mineral patches.
Hold on, chat. I just messed up my overlay. Hold on, guys. Sit tight. I'm sorry. Wrong overlay.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess we just wait and see. Very interesting terrain in some of these locations. Obviously, we got those 2 mineral patches that I'm not sure what those are all about. And this kind of weird thing at 12 and 6 o'clock where there's a low ground in between the bases. So that might be an area where you can make like a little choke point to attack into someone's maybe 3rd base or 4th base or something. But Light chose the map. The maps obviously, we eliminate maps as people choose them. So it might not be like his first choice out of the pool, but better than some of the others like Eclipse that remain.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what kind of game Snow's going to give us here. It seems like, as of late, Snow really doesn't tend to do a lot of cheesy stuff, PvP. You know what I mean? He seems to just kind of get a read on what's going on and then get his Reavers out and see what he can do from there.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have Terran with the barracks on the low ground here. And is this just going to be a barracks expand, Artosis?
Yes, for sure. And for the map looks very, very big to me. Like looking at this, it seems like it's a pretty long rush distance. So anytime you have like a longer map, you don't really want to do factory expand. Because first off, basically the rush distance will kill you if they're going Nexus first. You want like around fighting spirit size if you're going to go factory expand. So when you get a map like this, it's just like, yeah, go for the gaseous expand. And you can wiggle the build around a little bit. Like you see starting his 2nd depot, he'll take his gas as well as the probe comes up. So it's just like you have to have a lot of flexibility to do builds like this. You have to kind of know like, oh, the probe's coming, I can't have my gas stolen or I could lose, so let's just take the gas and then we'll make the command center a little bit later, and that's fine. It's not a big deal.
And Protoss makes an immediate nexus. And I gotta point this. Am I missing something? Is there a cybernetics core anywhere? Because I don't see one.
No. This is a new build. This is a few weeks old. People have been doing this a lot, where you go Gateway, Zealot, Nexus, and you just kind of send the Zealot across the map, and you just try to like harass him a little bit. It's actually, the way to think about it is it's exactly like the build Light's doing, where it's in between. It's not Nexus first, it's not Command Center first, right? Like you have like a little bit better chance to defend stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. There's so much of Protoss is trying to figure out how quick you can get that Nexus out. It's so different from the early days where it's like the Terran would like make factories on one base and the Protoss would make gateways and observers. Like now it's all about like, how do I get this Nexus out so I can really develop as a player here. And it's cool to see different ideas at play here even now, right? Where it's like, you're going to get your Nexus out here. You don't even have a Dragoon yet. You'll get that later because the Zealot's enough of a threat, right?
Yeah. Well, the Zealot just kind of like, it's a little bit harder to rush against it. It can put pressure on. Like, look, he's already made his bunker up very, very early here. He's got 4 Marines to make sure nothing can happen. So, it's just a little bit annoying. Light is going into double factory, so might be able to put on some pressure of his own. I've definitely seen that Light has some very cool builds for situations like this. Like he has a very cool 4 factory build that we could end up seeing. But yeah, as far as Snow goes, Robo is coming, so I would imagine he's going to go directly into Reaver.
Yeah, that's what I'm basically guessing here. Because the thing is, if Terran doesn't respect the possibility of Reaver here, then obviously there's a punish. And if they do respect it, they get the turrets up, okay, fine. Then you made them make turrets, right? Because, with Snow, the Reaver is a tool that's used the entire game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, with him specifically, that is for sure. And he's adding a second gateway as well. Looks like range finally on the way here. Just kind of, you see a little back and forth on the map, like the SCV's being chased down by a Dragoon. The Zealot's running around, just seeing, making sure nothing's hidden, right? Like hidden starport or something for a quick vulture drop. But you can see, of course, that that's not the case. Light right now, he has 2 factories, and he's adding on that academy. So that's going to give him a bunch more intel. The armory on the way. And yeah, it seems like both of them are doing really, really flexible openers.
By the way, I like Light's armory, and I know a lot of people that watch this are watching to actually try to learn so they can play. This position of the armory is good because it's not as likely, first of all, to get scouted immediately, right? It's just not where the observer's going to go, and that's one of the things that Protoss is looking for. It also is not necessarily a spot that's going to get recalled, right? And so that's very good. Like, a lot of times when I'm flying my Arbiter inside the Terran's main and I look and I just see like, oh my god, there it is. There's the armory. You know what I mean? It's like one of those shooting games where like the boss's chest opens up and you can shoot him in the heart.
Yeah.
And like that, it's like House of the Dead or whatever, where like if you just fire your bullets there, it kills them. That's like what I see when I see the armory somewhere where I can just recall on top of it.
No, that's definitely true. Armories at naturals, if it kind of fits into your build and isn't something that you're going to end up losing very early on, then it's definitely a great location. He has a bunch of vultures out right now. Like, Light has skipped tanks altogether, which is really neat. His first tank just popped out. It's funny because most games you have siege mode by now, but his first tank pops out and he's like just running around the map with siege tanks right now. Look at this. He's trying to actually break up the ramp. Doesn't quite do it, but he has laid a bunch of mines around. So he's getting a ton of intel, keeping some pressure on Snow, keeping him back.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this funny thing where when you look at what Terran's doing right now, like with this third, this seems like it's so dangerous. But if Protoss doesn't know and there's enough mines out, they never really get over there. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of this funny thing where like if they were close together, the Protoss would just walk over there and like kill the Terran and the game would end. But because this is far away and you're afraid because you know vultures are out on the map, the threat of that basically keeps the Protoss back here and allows you to kind of just, as a Terran, almost have your cake and eat it, right? Like, these tanks don't even need to siege up. There's no turrets here. Because until these mines are all cleared out across the map, you basically know what the other guy's doing.
Yeah, it's a really high-level build that Light has gone for here, where he's had to read what was going on throughout and react to it. And it's so optimized. Like, I'm actually salivating watching this. And I'm definitely going to be watching this replay again because...
You're salivating watching this?
I am salivating.
It's such a weird thing to say. I'm like, that's funny, Artosis, because I have a boner right now. Like, I'm watching this, and that's my reaction here.
When I salivate, it does that as well, absolutely. But his build is so good because it was like a flexible, fast Iraq's expand that he had to bend around a little bit, but then third base on location with lots of vultures, very late tanks and siege. The armory was still before 6 minutes. He had quick scanners. This build has it all, Tasteless.
Yeah.
Light is just another level.
Dude, it's crazy how good this build is. Like, look at this. Like, he's just on 2 factories, right? But he's gonna get that third gas here. Second armory coming. I don't even know what Protoss is supposed to do.
I don't even. He has so much, Tasteless. Like, Light. The optimizations that you see from the literal best players in the world blow my mind.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like, I mean, I watch like every Terran. You don't see many people able to pull this off because he is about to explode. You are about to see him go up to 8 or 9 factories in like the next minute. And he's going to have all of his upgrades going. He's perfectly well defended everywhere. He has tons of information. Damn.
Yeah, and I mean, Protoss is going carriers unless this is going to be a big surprise with Corsairs and D-Web. I mean, but this is like, I don't know if this is going to be that good, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like there's a great spot to hit with carriers if you just kind of look around here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you can kill the gas at their natural or something. You know what I mean? Maybe you can snipe that armory that I was so excited to see put there. Like, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem... Go ahead.
I think this game, it's going to have to be defensive carriers anyways. Like, the way that these have opened up, Snow actually doesn't really have map presence. He doesn't have a very big army. So I think it's basically going to be, excuse me, defensive carriers for quite some time, and then he'll be able to get out a little bit. But yeah, I think what we'll see is like Light just drop 1 million factories, stop SCV production altogether, and just try to nail a 2-1 timing.
You know, the carriers can be used as kind of this like gotcha tech, where you're like, I've got carriers, and they're like not quite ready because they didn't scan. But this type of tech is basically like you went on 6 gates, you powered, you quietly tech into carriers behind it. But notice the second cybernetics core. This shows that this is a real committal to the carrier tech here.
Yeah, that's serious. Like, second cybernetics core is a whole nother level for sure. I didn't notice that, actually. And third Stargate is coming up, so he is definitely going mass carrier. But Light is one of the best players against carrier builds. Like, really, out of all the Terrans, he holds off carriers better than most. So I guess we'll just see how he's going to go about it. I think it's going to be mostly just him rolling out onto the map and basically rallying behind while making command centers. I mean, he's the closest thing we have to Flash, so it's going to be insane macro and upgrades.
I mean, I'm trying to imagine. I might be wrong. I have been wrong many times in cast, but I just look at what Terran's got. It's like, oh, it's so scary. Like, I just think that he should just kind of, it's almost like they're going to have an arm wrestling match in the middle of the map, and I think Light's just going to beat him and attack, right? It takes a while for carriers to really pick up, and it seems like it's almost time for Terran to move out anyways, right?
Yeah, we're getting really close to Light's move out time for sure. I think he probably waits for 2-1 and max and then goes.
We don't have a forge upgrading Artosis. I don't know why this keeps happening to Snow. Like, he's at 0-0, he has a forge at his third base.
Tasteless. He's got 2 cybernetics core upgraded. Who needs ground
upgrades? I mean, wouldn't you want, like, attack and arm? I mean, it's so weird.
No, man, no. It's maybe plasma shields for your carriers, right? But look, this is what Snow's plan is. And this is always good when you're going carrier. If you're going carrier with a map that has terrain changes in it, to try to hold them on the high ground areas is always like a smart and strong move. Just any missed shots you can get to whittle down the army to slow it a little bit is super helpful. Now look at this. He's dropped Reavers in the center. He's got the goons. He's trying to slow him down, but here Light goes. Light needs to not siege again, I think. He needs to actually just go.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Give this army any respect. You have to go. You have to get on his side of the map.
We've got, I think, 5 carriers total here. I didn't realize how kind of janky the middle of this map is, by the way. I thought it was much more open, but it's actually got a lot of weird bottlenecks. So this is +2 attack, +1 armor. Terran here against a Protoss that is, his army is comprised of butter. I mean, this is like...
His army is comprised of butter.
Like, this is just not going to do it, man. So here come the carriers now.
Dude, yeah, okay, the carriers, they have a lot of work to do. There's not that many Goliaths here, though. It's 5 carriers against 12 Gauls. Yeah, you can beat that. It's kind of close with the 2-1 upgrades, but Light continuing to push forward. As many of the Goliaths he can pick off, it's going to be really worthwhile for Snow.
All right, great Reaver control. He's targeting down some of these Goliaths, and he just has to back up. Now, these carriers can come over here and really start to just wipe these tanks.
Yeah, Light has to run.
Oh my god, he's sieging.
I'm so scared for him right now. Yeah, he sieges up, I think because he was being chased, but he doesn't have enough Goliaths. There's 4 more coming, but the carrier count is just big enough. Light is going to screw this up, I think, and lose. Like, he's going to lose his tanks. You can't be losing the tanks. Like, you have to make sure you have the critical mass of Goliaths. He is pulling it back, and Light is double expanding. He's taking 3 o'clock, and he's taking the top right. So that's really powerful, but he needs to get his Goliaths together. Okay, some more Goliaths coming down, trying to target down these carriers as best he can. He gets one, brings the number back down to 5, and he's going to push Snow back for now. But we really need Light to come closer to max supply.
Yeah. Now, the carrier count's high enough, and they're continuing to be made, and I actually need to check here the upgrades. +1 attack, +1 armor. So 2/2's on the way here. I don't know how this maths out with carrier upgrades and the numbers. Like, that's sort of out of my depth. But this is getting scary because the carrier count is high enough that it's a real threat. And now you can combo in Dragoons and Zealots, and it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, you see a lot of micro here from Light. Snow is trying to pick off. There's not that many Goliaths. He's actually missing an opportunity here, I think, to kill a little bit more. Because you want to whittle the tank count down as well. He is picking off a lot of Goliaths. One of those carriers is very red. I would love to see Light pick that off. It's actually the front one, too. But Snow targeting down these siege tanks. Don't forget that during this, again, Light has taken more additional bases. This is like the most important thing he's doing right now. Yeah, he's keeping the pressure on, but he's got 2 more gases on the back of this.
Yeah, he's really able to keep up here. I mean, this is the problem. It's kind of like what we have in StarCraft 2 when there's like Broodlord Infestor, where you're, like you just start to see them play around that. By the way, the siege on the ramp here actually makes it hard for the Goliaths to move up. Kind of the dream here for the Terran. An EMP onto the carriers, not a bad idea at all. I don't know how much this is going to help in the long run, but obviously eliminating all the shields there is pretty huge.
Yeah, but let's see. Like, he needs to actually target carriers instead of interceptors. If you're going to use the EMP, definitely try to get that pick. Force them to fly away from you.
Oh, the top right is being hit.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's a lot of units as well at the top right. So that top right base definitely dead. He cannot save that. But a lot more Goliaths coming up. Thing is, this is almost a pure Goliath army at this point. So that's where the goons can actually kind of start fighting as well, even though they have terrible upgrades.
Yeah, still 0-0 here. I can't believe he doesn't have more upgrades here. I mean, I know it's not... I'm harping on it so much, but
he doesn't have +1. That is a bit surprising.
That is surprising, yeah. But he's just continuing to pump carriers here. The counterattack is now going to hit this center right base, Artosis. And if I check the third here for the Terran, it's mineral rich. The natural's about to disappear, though. So, like, Terran needs more bases. This is true for Protoss, but I think it's going to sound weird, but I think it's actually more important that Terran gets another base here. Carriers can start to get value because in a weird way where you're not really ever trading units in with him if you're doing it correctly, right? And so that's where, like, the Terran's just losing stuff. Now, he's got to be careful here. This is a very open area. And the Goliaths don't really have to respect 3 Dragoons on the low ground, so he needs to go somewhere safe.
Yeah, it's so true. There's like so few gateway units here for Snow. He is taking another base towards the top right a little bit. But yeah, I'm a bit nervous for Light. He's got amazing upgrades though. So we'll see if that's going to be enough for him. His siege tank count has fallen quite a bit. I only see... 7 siege tanks right now with his main army. Got to get a few more than that. Lots of Goliaths, a decent amount of vultures still in there. He is expanding to the bottom left now. We also have the story of the flying, burning command center as it floats towards the bottom left away from 3 o'clock.
Yeah, this has been wild, man. I mean, right now I think Protoss can basically keep their army all together like this and just start to take fights head on. Even though the ground army isn't that good, it's so annoying for the Terran. It interrupts the targeting here as the Dragoons and Zealots come in, right? I mean, the Zealots are going to bash Goliaths. Goliaths, you would never make them unless you had to deal with air units. And so here they come now. Again, Vultures are really a much bigger threat for Dragoons and Zealots here. So now we've got this fight, and he's just kind of taking this fight in an area that's really smart for the carriers.
Yeah, the Zealots coming down and hitting the Goliaths is kind of like half of the Goliaths are attacking the army and carriers, and the other half are attacking some goons. So a little bit sloppy there from Light. Still, he has a decent amount of supply. He has a flank of Goliaths, so that's huge right there. Starting to put a ton of damage down onto some of these. Oh no, he's not actually getting the kills though.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Like all these, there's a lot of damaged carriers that just aren't dying. They're not going kaput here. And again, I mean, Terran takes this bottom base down here. It's not bad, right? But again, the reality is like, I feel like he's just eventually going to get run over by carriers here. These carriers, by the way, are 2/2. +2 attack, +2 armor.
I can't, like, they have so many kills on them at this point. And it's all, like, mech units that they've killed, too. 11 carriers just running rampant in the map. This is
That's it.
So crazy. GG,
Unreal.
Snow wins again.
Wow. Dude. That's insane.
Yeah. I think that game, what went wrong for Light is the attack over at 9 o'clock, where you mentioned that the tanks sieging on the ramp were blocking the Goliaths. That was not the right place or the right way for him to siege. I think if he pulls back, does 2 rounds of Goliaths, goes again, he probably can kill Snow. But he was like fighting with this small army that didn't quite have enough Goliaths, and he's bleeding off tanks, and it's taking him forever to kill a base. It was tough.
Really good control there. By Snow. I mean, I'm just stunned that actually worked. I mean, I feel like a lot of times we think that if you have mass carrier, the way to stop it is to just get the upgraded Goliaths, and you'll eventually overcome them. They have to play positions, but I feel like by the end there, you just saw the carriers were actually better once they get to a certain point. And in reality, he was throwing a little bit of extra minerals into the ground units, but there was a point in time where it's like nothing's going to kill these carriers.
Mm-hmm.